Hello, everybody. Welcome into the NBA Front Office Show. It's Friday. You know what that means.
Front Office Friday! Last off-season one edition.
Let's go. Last off-season edition of Front Office Friday. We've got the regular season on the way. The final preseason games taking place tonight. And then the season kicks off next week. Keith, I am so excited for the regular season to get rolling. Had some fun, certainly with preseason basketball, but now the games are going to count for real. We've got a lot to talk about today. Get your questions, your comments in, coming in from YouTube, coming in from X. Toss them in here. We'll get into a lot of your questions and comments here on the show. That's the whole point of the Friday show, is to take in what you guys want us to talk about and go from there. Keep it.
Look at this.
Hey, look at that.
Nairobi, Kenya. Let's go.
Kenya. All right.
We're big on the African continent, I hear.
Apparently we are. Yep.
Take it.
So let's start things off though, Keith. Have you seen that the Charlotte Hornets are actually shrinking?
Yeah, I did see that. I saw that while I was eating lunch. I don't know what to make of that. I mean, we know teams lie on the heights and players lie all the time, but I don't know really how to take that everybody is smaller. I have no idea.
What's the purpose of doing something like that, of changing and then announcing that you changed the heights of that you?
I don't think they announced it. That came from Hornets.
Oh, Hornets Reddit did it. Reddit did it. They compared all the heights for last year. Here it is. But still, why change all the heights of the players? So, Collin Sexton is 3 inches shorter now, apparently. Now that he's become, you go to Charlotte and you try what he got bumped by a Goomba, and now he needs a big mushroom to grow again.
It is apparently. I'm also gonna say I don't think Liam McNeely is 6'5". I have stood next to Liam McNeely at Montverde Academy, and unless he shrunk by the time he left there, he's legit. Maybe 6'6.5", but I thought 6'7" was pretty legit for him. And now someone's gonna do the 6'7" thing, and I don't even understand why that's funny. Do you know this?
I'm not teaching anymore, so I don't.
Yeah,
I know it's
your daughter's probably a little young, but it's a thing, and I don't understand why it's funny, but whatever. So
it's one of those things that reminds me why I'm so thankful that I'm not teaching anymore, because they come up with the dumbest stuff to latch on to. Especially it's the junior high age kids that will. And look, there are plenty of things that are endearing about that age group, and there are some great memories that I've got for that. But the obnoxious, annoying things that they latch on, that's definitely something I don't miss.
Dondre says I am teaching and it's annoying.
Yep.
So, yeah, I see it everywhere, and my daughter's over it too. She doesn't think it's funny anymore either. So, but yeah. Well, anyway, I don't know. I don't know why guys are shorter. No clue. Maybe they're. I don't know. Maybe they. I don't know. Maybe everybody got a haircut. That's what it is. I really don't know. The Collin Sexton one is. That's
right. I get the other guys. They're an inch shorter. Collin Sexton go from 6'3" to 6 foot.
Yeah,
that's a big drop there.
Yeah. Collin Sexton's balling in my territory now. A little still taller, but I could at least guard him in the post and feel okay.
Here we go. Breaking news on the NBA Front Office Show. Keith Smith says he can guard Collin Sexton.
No. In the post. I didn't say I would stop him.
I can stand there. He would go around me. But
funny story. So part of the reason I really missed the old Orlando Summer League was it was just there was no fans at it. So it was coaches and media, and the media sat with the coaches and stuff because it was just in the Magic's old practice gym. And it was Stan Van Gundy was a riot to sit next to. And one of the things was somebody who was sitting there was like, hey, this, he's out there, he's guarding. And he goes, well, yeah, he's guarding. They're all guarding. Doesn't mean they're stopping. And that's always stuck with me. I mean, it makes me laugh.
Yeah, I guess you can be guarding very poorly.
Right.
And we did see, a few players that will do that.
Which is how it would go down if I was guarding anyone in the NBA. NBA Jason. Man, Toph's got me a little taller than but I'll take it. That is now my official on the record height. 5'11".
There it is. There it is. Until you get to the Charlotte Hornets.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. Then it'll be back to my real height.
All right, let's go. Let's start here though. Montes Buzelis is healing me. What do you have? 19 points, I think it was last night.
Yeah, I looked it up just to make sure I was like going to be in the right range. 18 points per game on 57% shooting, 39% on 5.5 3-point attempts per game in the preseason for Modest, and 1.8 blocks per game. So let's go. I'm all in on Modest Buzelis.
He's fun. He's got a bit of flair to his game.
Yeah, he's got some attitude. Do you remember when he was coming in last year and he's like, I can't wait to dunk on, and then he listed like 20 guys?
Yeah.
And it's just the best. Like, I love that kind of stuff. So,
I mean, look at the percentage. Those percentages, I mean, probably not sustainable, but not too far. I mean, we're talking about 40% most nights.
Yeah, if he's around 40% from 3, 38%, even like that's a huge step forward. And the 5 blocks in the Nuggets game.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's inflating the blocks per game average a little bit. But yeah, let's rebound a little more. 8 rebounds in the one, but then 1 rebound in 25 minutes. It's like, come on, get on the glass. But yeah, I love Modest Buzelis. I think he's gonna be really good. Yeah. Easily the best thing the Bulls have going. Well, him and Kobe White, I guess, are the best thing.
Is Kobe White long for the Bulls?
I don't know. We'll see. He's certainly not going to extend.
Yeah.
Much like I wrote and then we talked about with Austin Reeves, numbers just too low this year to extend off of. So
right.
So it'll be a minute with that. But yeah.
All right, let's go here. Do you guys do FPL?
I don't know what FPL was. That's why I tagged this.
Premier League, I believe.
Is that what it is? Yeah. I don't.
No, I do not as well.
Yeah, I it's one of those things where I would and then I'd forget and just would never do it. But yeah.
All right, let's go.
I'm excited it's back this weekend, though.
Yeah, it's exciting stuff. Mm-hmm. With the injury to Jaden Ivey, I really wonder what the Pistons are going to do with this extension. I mean, it's a 4-week injury. The knee, well, I shouldn't say that. 4 weeks until he gets reevaluated. Had a little bit of a procedure done on his knee. And, unfortunately, he played, 30 games last season? So certainly unfortunate that here we are again with Jaden Ivey, that the Pistons, here it is, found the Pistons official press release. Arthroscopic procedure. I think this was yesterday this came out. To relieve right knee discomfort. Procedure and discomfort are unrelated to the fibula injury suffered last season. Ivey will begin the rehab process immediately, be reevaluated in 4 weeks. Again, reevaluate does not mean return. What does this mean on the salary front for the Pit? Is this kind of like Keegan Murray has the UCL injury, but that didn't stop him from getting a deal done with Sacramento? How do you see this going for Jaden?
Same. It should have, unless there is reason to believe this knee issue is going to be a thing moving forward, it should have no impact. Either the knee thing or just injuries in general. If the Pistons start to be like, yeah, we don't think this guy's going to be someone we can count on for 65, 70 plus games a season, then I think it becomes it becomes like just a footnote. It is what it is, and it shouldn't have any impact. That said, from everything I've heard, they're not particularly close with him on an extension. And I think that's okay. He missed half of last year. So I think we're in a spot where it's going to be, all right, go out, have a good year, and we'll take care of you in the summertime in restricted free agency. But yeah, hey, Bryce.
Our guy Bryce said difference is Keegan played all of last season and Ivey didn't. Yeah, only played 30 games, as I said, last year. So that's certainly not ideal. And if the Pistons say, hey, go out of a great year, again, it's similar to the Walker Kessler situation where teams can feel comfortable doing this, not extending the player. The player usually isn't thrilled, but a team can feel comfortable because of restricted free agency, because it is such a cudgel for teams to wield. It scares away any suitors for a player. I mean, I can't, I'm sure it's happened recently, but it's very uncommon for a team to even really test restricted free agent. Most teams don't even want to have their cap space locked up.
DeAndre Ayton was like the last one.
And that was years ago.
Yeah.
So you very rarely see a team actually challenge restricted free agency and present an offer because they just figure the incumbent team will match. And so restricted free agency is this giant keep away sign for most free agents that are out there, for most guys who are restricted. And, that was to the detriment of some players that we saw this summer. We look at, Josh Giddey, Jonathan Kuminga, and Quentin Grimes and Cam Thomas, all these guys. So if you're in this situation with the player, teams don't really feel like they have to rush to get an extension done or commit earlier than they need to, because restricted free agency is very, very protective.
Yeah, I thought I had flagged it. I can't find it. Somebody had said like the Pistons need to sign Malik Beasley like now. Challenge is it's like unless they get a feeling from the league that nothing is going to happen that takes him out of their plans in season, as far as any kind of suspension or even further a ban or anything like that, they're just not going to want to commit to any kind of contract with Malik Beasley right now. So kind of is what it is. It's, that was hopeful that would get clarity on that before the season, but clearly I don't think that's going to come here in the next couple of days. So
right. All right, let's go here. Do you guys know the status on Jaylen Brown? If he's out for some time, who fills in? Keith, what is going on with Jaylen Brown?
Yeah, he left their last preseason game with hamstring tightness.
Right.
Immediately in game, he was ruled as doubtful to return, that's generally, I know that sounds weird to put it this way, but that's a positive thing, where it's like he's doubtful, he's not immediately ruled out. Especially so I think, what's that?
I said, especially for preseason, where they're going to be overly cautious with everything.
So I think it's, so like we're just in a spot where they are, we're now going to see it kind of, they're going to manage it. Joe Mazzulla said he didn't think it was a big deal the other day, that they finished their preseason early a couple of days ago. So they're done. So we won't get any real update now until before, but what will come is over the weekend, if the media sees him at practice or not, then we'll start to get a feeling on it. But if he's out for some time, who fills in? I have no idea. Just Anthony Simons, I guess. Just pick a guy off the bench and put him in the lineup. So we'll kind of go from there. So but yeah. So I'm not I'm not worried about it, and they don't seem to be worried about it. So I think it's okay.
Hamstring is something you never want to hear, just because they can be so tricky, that you can have injuries that reoccur and everything. But again, doubtful, and in a preseason game, it's probably going to be just probably not much to be, as Keith's saying, nothing to be concerned about there. But we'll see ultimately where it goes, but probably not something to be too concerned about. Do you guys know what's up with Atlanta not signing Trae?
I think this is he wants a max and they don't want to give him one, and they haven't found any kind of suitable middle ground, and I think that's as simple as that.
Is he worth a max?
Probably. Like, just what he does. I mean, we've seen him on teams that aren't great be incredible and lead those teams to better seasons than what their overall talent says. But I'm also, if I'm the Hawks, let's see what it looks like this year with more guys around him, guys who will need the ball more. Well, what is that gonna look like? With this, before we jump in, and I think if you're the Hawks, the worry part is he could get to unrestricted free agency next summer. There's going to be somewhere probably between 5 and 10 teams with cap space and meaningful cap space enough to make the Hawks sweat. And that's where then, all right, where do we go? But that's my guess, is he wants more than what they want to give him, and they're not wanting to go there right now.
Yeah, I mean, that's the concern. So we were just talking about Jaden Ivey Walker Kessler in this situation as well as a number of other players, where from the player perspective, seeing RFA on their cap sheet is not what you want to see. From the team perspective, though, that can make you feel warm and fuzzy. We're not going to lose this player for nothing. That is not the case with Atlanta and Trae Young. He's got a player option. If he wants, he will have the ability to walk away from the Atlanta Hawks next summer. And the Hawks, what would that do for them if they do lose him? Would they be able to replace him? Where would that leave them cap-wise? I think this is a bit of a dangerous game that Atlanta is playing. Now, that said, of the teams that have cap space or project to have cap space, how many of them could use Trae Young? He's not a plug and play. Like, for example, if, I don't know, let's say Mikal Bridges were a free agent, right? But he could be a plug and play just about anywhere, right? There are a ton of teams that could fit him in. Trae Young is not that. You have to be a little bit more careful with how you're going to surround him. And I think the Hawks have put together a pretty darn good roster in terms of maximizing Trae Young's strengths while minimizing his weaknesses. I think they've done a nice job. I'm excited for the season for them. But Trae could walk away next summer and leave Atlanta for nothing. And that is a really tough situation to be in. And it makes me wonder, if things don't go according to plan in Atlanta, are you then in a situation where you need to explore the trade market, if you do decide that you don't want to be the team to pay Trae Young on his next contract?
Yeah, certainly if you are like, we're out, then you have to explore trades, because it doesn't make sense to just sit on the player if you know you're done. I do think if let's just say they don't have a sense that they're finished with him or he's leaving and then he does leave, well, you still have Dyson Daniels, you have Nickeil Alexander-Walker. There's a handful of good guards coming up in this draft, and they're going to have very likely a pretty good pick coming from the Pelicans. So that's, something there. So I think, that could be where they're like, all right, we don't need to, fully lock in here and decide. Somebody called out like they have to play Kristaps Porzingis as well. So, that's a, that's a factor, but I think that's less a factor than Trae Young. I just think it's more Dyson Daniels needs paid. They already paid Jalen Johnson. They're just in a tough spot. They're you don't want to start getting too close to being a tax team by paying everybody.
You pay everybody, you're very locked into this group, and you don't know what this group is yet. The flip side being, you don't pay everybody, you're not locked into this team, and some of this team may walk away next summer. So it's a very difficult needle to thread here for the Atlanta Hawks. And I'll tell you this, the one, I think, solution, as it tends to be in the NBA, the cure-all, just go win. You win games, you have a good season. The players are going to want to stick around and continue to be part of that. The team is going to want to pay the players to stick around and be part of that. And you travel on down the road together.
Yep, 100%. Yeah, they have a really good season, then all this stuff will take care of itself. And you'll feel even better being a tax team and those kind of things.
Yeah. All right, let's go here. JJ Castillo said, with how the West is being so stacked than ever this season, can the East be as competitive this season despite no Tatum and Tyrese? So we did drop our preview video yesterday on our preview show on both conferences, breaking out what we thought would happen in the standings, how the finals would ultimately go, the conference finals as well as the NBA finals. We named our champions and all of that. Can the East be competitive? I think it's not as deep in terms of quality as the West, but I think the East can indeed be competitive. And Keith, when we did that exercise yesterday and we were making our predictions, I felt bad knocking at least a couple of teams out of play-in status, and I had to kind of lean heavily on the 76ers being extremely injured, which, by the way, it sounds like Joel Embiid is going to play in the 76ers final preseason game, so that's great news. So I do think that the East can be competitive. Is it as deep with quality as the West? No, but I think we can see a significant race in the Eastern Conference. There's just, I think, separation between the top two and then another tier, and then kind of a bigger tier after that. And I'll pull up the standings here as you're responding, Keith.
Yeah, I think the West is, I've said it before, probably even on a live Friday, but you can go watch our video. OKC, Denver, kind of tier of their own, then a bunch of teams. Those teams, though, are 48 to like 52 win teams.
Mm-hmm.
In the East, I think it is Cleveland, New York, then a bunch of teams. And those teams are like 41 to like 45 win teams. Like that's where the difference comes in. I think it's just as competitive, just as compact in the middle of the conference. It's just as competitive and compact with worse teams. Now, someone will emerge, right? Orlando maybe wins 50 games and is pretty good, but I think it's going to be extremely tight and just like the West, it's just tight with worse teams.
Aside from Philly, just because of the injury situation that makes them so difficult to predict, the team that I had the hardest time with, I think, was Toronto, because I think there are some pieces there that are interesting. They did add Brandon Ingram, who is not a superstar. I understand why the Pelicans made the decision not to be the team to pay him his next contract, but that doesn't mean he's not a good player and isn't helpful. I think they could be not like I could see them being the 4 seed or 3 seed or something, but they could wind up being a sneaky team in the Eastern Conference that winds up being, better than a lot of people are projecting, I think.
Yeah, they're a weird team. Maybe they're weird enough to work. Well, we'll see. My real big worry with Toronto is what happens if they hit a point where guys are like, I'm not playing as much as I feel like I should. I need more shots. Like, because there's a lot of guys there that they have kind of locked into, and then what happens? So yeah, I'm very intrigued by the Raptors. I think they'll probably be a play-in tournament team, and then we'll see from there.
All right, let's go here. Regulator said the Bulls can the Bulls go over the cap to sign Cody next summer?
Yeah, and what I'm projecting, and you guys will see this will come out on Spot Track, and then we'll probably talk about it on the show, and I'll do some social media about it as well. Cap space projections for next summer. I've already got them set. I'm just waiting on the handful of rookie scale extensions to be decided on next Monday, just to make sure one doesn't sneak in that throws everything off. I think the Bulls are going to be a cap space team. Hold on to Kobe White's cap hold, and then still have like $30 million to spend, then go over the cap to re-sign Kobe White.
Very similar to the Lakers situation that we detailed the other day with Austin Reeves. It does make sense. Again, as long as you keep that cap hold on your books, they will have his bird rights. They will be able to go over the cap to sign him, and they could use that cap hold being a little bit smaller than probably what he will ultimately get as a way to spend some money and then go over the cap by signing him.
Yeah, Kobe White and Austin Reeves to me are pretty comparable players in that they're both combo guards. They're both good scoring guards who can do some playmaking. The difference is Austin Reeves has done it on successful teams that have been in the playoffs. Kobe White hasn't necessarily done it there, but I think they're very comparable situations. Yeah, pretty comparable as far as not where the teams are, but just as far as like could have cap space. The Lakers get there by really one big expiring contract, LeBron James. The Bulls get there with a whole bunch of like mid-sized expiring contracts that'll come off their books. But yeah, I'm very high on Kobe White. I think he's a $30+ million a year guy in free agency. Can't extend for that amount. So no worries about him on his side holding out and waiting to sign next summer. Again, if you're the Bulls, you hit a point where it's like, all right, where he's not coming back, one of these cap space teams is going to jump on him. You need to look at a trade.
What do you do with Ayo Dosunmu if you're the Bulls?
I would try to get him extended.
Yeah.
He's eligible for, I call it the Dinwiddie extension, because I think it's I think in that world there is a place where it's Ayo Dosunmu at 15 to 17 million a year. Pretty good value. That's like MLE plus a little. I have no issue with that. And that's what I'd be trying to do if I was the Bulls. I'd try to get that done.
All right, let's go here. Keith and Trev, would you be surprised if the Lakers win 57 games and make another Luka type trade during the season? Yes.
The Luka thing's never going to happen again.
That was the most shocking trade we've seen in NBA history, to the point where people thought Shams Charania was hacked because he reported that. Yeah, I would never say it's likely that something like that happens again. But we'd be surprised. 100% we'd be surprised if something like that happened again. That trade was insane.
Yeah, that would be stunning. In 57, that's a high number. That's a big number. I would not go that high. So I'd be surprised if both things happened.
Sure, I'd be surprised if both those things happen as well. But yeah, you can never expect another Luka trade to happen.
That's funny.
They warned about in the Bible.
Lakers fans have the level of greed they warn about in the Bible. That's from our buddy Ball. That's
there it is. There it is.
Since we're on it, how likely is a LeBron departure this season? I don't think overly likely. LeBron's not the kind of guy who gets moved in season generally. But I mean, Luka did get traded, so who knows? But I don't think we'll see that.
All right, let's go. Yeah, I agree. I don't think we see it either. I mean, you never know. You never say never. Today, that's the problem, Keith. Now, with anything we talk about that's not likely, you fall back on.
Yep.
But Luka got traded, exactly. So you never know, right? You never know.
That's going to hang in there for a couple years. Here.
For a few years, that's going to be a thing. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
If the Knicks win it all, does Malcolm Brogdon get a ring? I would assume
probably not. Like, he didn't make the regular season roster. The only reason I really flagged this because it is the who gets a ring is solely at the discretion of the team. There's no rules on it. They can give it to everybody who played in even a game for the team that year if they want to. Some teams do that. Some teams say you had to actually be on the roster for the end of the season and for the playoff and finals run, and then we'll go. But yeah, no, he's not going to get a ring because he wasn't on the roster. But it's really up to a team to decide.
All right, let's go.
I'm going to pull this one real quick just because it's related. I assume kind of to Brogdon. Player retires midseason. Does that clear a team's cap space? It does not. So midseason, it would stay on the books. The one caveat would be is if the player worked a buyout with the team, then retired post like buyout and waiver. We've seen that happen a couple of times with teams and players that not recently. It's probably been it's at this point it's probably been a decade or more that's happened. But yeah, that's the only way. Otherwise, that money sits on the books. And then if it's a medical retirement, it's 1 year from their last game played. And then there's other caveats and stipulations for that. But yeah.
Well, and you have to remember the reason why this exists, they don't want teams like pushing players to retire or anything like that. Because you don't want to have that kind of a benefit going to two teams by getting a player to retire. Yeah. Okay, we need to get to some more of our questions and comments, and we'll get to them in 1 minute. We'll pay some bills. We'll be back in 1 minute. Great presenting sponsor for the Front Office Show is Sleeper. If you've ever heard of the Sleeper app, here's a little secret. It's more than just a platform for season-long fantasy leagues. This year, millions of users enjoyed playing fantasy sports on Sleeper, but the app offers so much more. Live stats, real-time updates, and visualizations on all stats, plus a news feed. This is so critical for me. Get lightning-fast updates on your favorite players and teams, a real-time chat you can engage with other users about individual plays and performances during the NFL and NBA season. So download the #1 sports app today and experience it for yourself. If you can see, I've made a couple of season-long picks there. Some deep cuts. We've got Tyler Warren for the Indianapolis Colts. NFL season is here. I've got him more than 550.5 receiving yards. I think he's going to be a big part of that offense. And then Zach Charbonnet, essentially, I'm saying I don't think that Ken Walker is going to wind up staying healthy all season. I've got him more than 499.5 rushing yards. I think the opportunities will be there for Charbonnet. So click that link in the description down below. Use the promo code CAPSPACE, and you'll get up to a $100 match on your first deposit. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Currently operational in over 25 states. Check out Sleeper today. All right, let's go here. Thoughts on Hugo Gonzalez so far, Keith? What do you think?
I'm cautiously optimistic. I didn't love the pick when the Celtics made it. There were a couple guys on the board I would have liked them to go with now, but I'm in now. I see why they went with him. This year, all I want to just play hard, run the floor, play really hard on both ends. He's an incredible cutter already. We often see that with European players. It's just European players grow up in movement-based offenses more so than here in the U.S. So I'm really excited, to see what he could be, and I think he's going to get run just because he plays hard. And Joe Mazzulla and really every coach, but Mazzulla loves guys that just play really hard. That's why the Celtics, I think, are going to be somewhat of a pain to play, because they got a bunch of guys that are just going to go hard. And this year, they have guys who are like trying to establish themselves in the NBA, and I think that's going to help as well as this goes.
Yeah, that's always a key thing. It's not just how skilled you are as a team. It's how hard does the team play. And I know that sounds like a simple thing, because we think like every team should just go all out every single night because you're a professional and all of that. But some teams do have another level that they take it to, and that makes them, a random Wednesday night in January where a team's tired on the second night of a back-to-back, and you go play against one of these teams that's just a pain in the butt to play, you're probably going to get a loss. That's just the way that it goes. So, that's something that maybe isn't talked about enough when we look at teams and their overall quality.
Yeah. It's one of the things when you listen to, right, everybody's kind of doing their over-unders or previews and that. And one of the things that the people who I trust most on the way they cover the league and I really believe in it, something I've come to believe is playing hard can get you regular season wins that you wouldn't get otherwise. Like it's
absolutely
that matters less in the playoffs because everybody plays hard in the playoffs. That's sometimes why you see like teams that are regular season darlings then just kind of fall short in the playoffs because maybe they don't have the talent to overcome it. But in the regular season, that can steal you wins sometimes over better teams that just kind of show up that night. Back-to-backs for the other side, into long road trips, all that stuff. If you show up and play hard, you'll steal a whole bunch of regular season wins.
All right, let's go here. Keith, what teams are currently second apron teams going into the season? Well, we just so happen to have this handy-dandy page over here on Spot Track, which shows you that the Cavs are the only team that are above the second apron right now. Are you surprised by that there's only one team that dared to venture into the rough waters above the second apron?
A little bit. I think there were only 3 teams finished over the second apron last year. That was Boston, Minnesota, and Phoenix. And Boston and Phoenix very clearly were motivated to get under the second apron and start things moving in a different direction. So once they made those decisions, and then you can see the Knicks, the Warriors, and Mavericks all made transactions that hard capped them at the second apron. So they can't be second apron teams. So that really only leaves Minnesota. And at that point, I'm kind of not fully shocked that Minnesota is not there. Were you looking at Brooklyn?
I was looking at Brooklyn as second apron.
It's funny, right?
Yeah.
That's because they sent cash in a trade because they didn't want to send a pick. So they sent the minimum amount of cash as their to use Eric Pincus's term, the nothing something in a trade. They sent the minimum amount of cash. If you send cash in a trade, you get hard capped at the second apron.
By that, on that topic, that means there's a number of teams, I believe, that are first apron hard cap that are also technically second apron. It just doesn't matter because you can't get past the first apron anyway.
Exactly. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Once you're first apron hard capped, it's the second apron part doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
And just so everybody knows, because it'll be asked, it's just for this season through June 30th. Once we hit July 1st, hard cap status is completely wiped away.
All right, let's go here. Is the Ace Bailey situation fishy? He fired his agent and only preferred destination in the Wizards. Wizards picked up Sharif Cooper, the son of Bailey's agent, days after Bailey cut ties.
I would think it would be more fishy if he was still with the wasn't an agent, it was an advisor too, just to be clear on that. But if he was still with them as his advisor, and then they sign the kid, but he's like they said, he's cut ties. So
Right.
that's to me less fishy. Somebody said in the chat too, as a response to this, like it's very clear he wants out of Utah already. I don't think so anymore. I think now he's to be there, and he seems to be okay.
I mean, at this point, even if he wants out of Utah, there's not much you can do about it. You know what I mean? Like, there's no point. You're under contract. You're on a rookie scale deal. You're just starting this deal. Settle in. You might as well make the best of it. And who knows? Sometimes you have some place where you say, man, I really don't want to go there. And then you wind up going there, and it turns out to be a lot better than you expected. Mm-hmm. And that could be the case. We'll see. Maybe Utah grows on him. You never know. Even if he didn't initially want to get there, could wind up being a very, very good spot for Ace Bailey. But I think trying to say there's something fishy going, like we're trying to connect the strings on the corkboard right now, you know, and we're getting a little too deep into.
What is that? Always Sunny in Philadelphia,
yes.
Right?
Yeah. Right, exactly.
I've never watched that show. I should probably watch it.
Yeah, I know.
People say it's really funny.
I've heard the same, and I have not watched it. I just finished watching the first season of The Paper, though. Or no, I think I have one episode left.
We did. That's unfortunately now it's like this weekend or that's it. Like I'm not going to get to any of these shows, and it's
Smokey said, how likely are the Sacramento Kings to move Keon Ellis? If he doesn't re-sign, they will be picked apart at the trade deadline, surely, if they're below 500.
He's extension eligible. I think it's February 9th is when he can extend. So it's actually after the trade deadline. But if then it may be a little off on my days, but it's right around there. But if Keon Ellis is like, I'm not going to extend and I'm not coming back, then I don't know. Like, it's like, then where do we, like, then, you probably want to move him because I think their idea was we're going to pick up that, option with the idea of now we've got him and we'll have him and go forward from there. So, but I don't know. I'm not sure.
I would be like I've been saying for a while, they need more Keon Ellis's, not less. So if I'm Sacramento, I'm doing everything I can to make sure I hang on to him.
Yeah, if I'm moving guys, I'm gonna look a little further up the payroll and age chart if I'm the Kings and start moving guys that way.
Do you think Dallas is right for a consolidation trade with Daniel Gafford, the most valuable trade asset, as they fight the roster imbalance?
Yeah, 100%. They're arguably the most unbalanced roster in the league. They don't have a lot of guards and ball handling. Thus, Cooper Flag at the point, which is probably great long term. I don't know how good it is right now for Dallas if he's going to be your primary initiator. But long term, these are great reps for him. But I would be looking at moving some guys if I could rebalance that roster. And Gafford, the extension is perfectly fine. Like that's a really good number for him. No issues with that at all. So I would probably look there. Just to know PJ Washington extended too late, can't be traded. Season.
So not trade eligible this season. Daniel Gafford, his new deal too came in right under the amount that would make him continue to be trade eligible.
Yep.
So I mean, just something worth noting. But I think we talk trade this time of year, but most of the NBA is not ready to make a trade right now. Most teams are getting ready for opening night. Like teams typically do not make trades in early October. Can it happen? Yes, we've seen it happen. But usually trade season around the NBA truly starts picking up December 15th. Doesn't mean trades start immediately going down. Sometimes, executives and stuff go away for the holidays or spending time there, and then they really pick up in January. But usually teams at this point want to get their guys on the floor, get a true sense of what they have and what they don't have, and then figure out what they want to do on the trade market.
Yeah, if you see a trade now, it's generally something Knicks have been trying to do, which is move a player so they can keep another player.
Right.
It's more of a roster management thing versus, hey, we're really trying to reset our team or anything like that. That'll come, that's really after December 15th when the vast majority of guys who signed over the summer will be trade eligible. Then that's when trade season unofficially opens. But you're absolutely right. It's late December, early January, month ahead of the trade deadline. That's when things really pick up.
All right, we've got who's a better fit, Drew Holiday on the Blazers or Bradley Beal on the Clippers?
Fully healthy, I think it's Beal on the Clippers because I think he
Mm-hmm.
fills an actual need for them with one more scorer, one more ball handler, one more playmaker. Right now, it's probably Drew Holiday simply because Scoot Henderson is hurt and the Blazers don't have a lot of on ball guys. So it's probably Drew Holiday. Plus, the Clippers got Bradley Beal for like nothing. I mean, basically, what was it? The chunk of what was left of the mid level. And then, like, he's probably going to start for them, I think, or play a big role off the bench for a team that, but here we go
I
again.
could be wrong,
Should
but I
be
think they
pretty
did
good.
name him their starter. I thought I saw that.
Yeah, I think they did. So he's been out. I think he's supposed to play tonight,
He is.
if I remember correctly. So like, that'll be his first preseason game. So presumably he looks good. Yeah, he'll probably start. So, but yeah, I mean, I'm in on the Clippers again, like an idiot. Not as in as I have been. So maybe I'm just slowly learning that lesson.
Well, so I'll say this on which one is the better fit. I think it's clearly Bradley Beal, and it's not. I'm not purely talking about on the court. I'm talking about off the court as well. When you look at the age of the Clippers roster, Beal fits right in, more of a short window. Drew Holiday, it's a little bit more of a he's from a different generation than most of this roster. Now they've got Damian Lillard back, so maybe that changes things a little bit. But and obviously he won't be playing until next year. But that was the big question. Was getting an older player who's already dealing with some injury issues, maybe slowing down a little bit for a young up and coming Blazers team, especially one that's due multiple years of a pretty decent sized money in Drew Holiday. So I do think that from a overall team concept fit, Beal is much more of an obvious, oh yeah, of course, add in Bradley Beal to James Harden and Kawhi Leonard, all these other, north of 30 players. Drew Holiday, I think, is a little bit more of a, I don't want to say awkward because he's such a good defender. I think he can really fit with a team, and you do need an adult in the room. But in terms of the long-term trajectory, the plan of the Blazers, it's a little bit more wonky with Drew Holiday.
It's just very different from where I think you and I and a lot of folks in the basketball media and even other team people in the NBA see the Blazers versus where the Blazers see themselves. They believe in the team they were in the second half of the year when they were pretty good. And they think that's going to carry over and they have a chance to be a playoff team. And if they're correct, then Drew Holiday's an awesome fit because he will certainly help with that. If they're off and they're like 11th, 12th in the West, then yeah, it's a little weird and you should probably look at trading him if you can. One last just related. Apple says, wonder if Drew will even start. He definitely will to start open the year because Scoot Henderson's out to start the season. So he's going to start at point guard for them. But yeah, when they're fully healthy, there's like 7 guys to start. And clearly it's only 5 because you've got Klingon's locked in. Kamara's locked in. I think Avdia should be locked in, but they brought him off the bench in the preseason. And maybe their idea is, hey, we'll bring you off the bench and you can just kind of go crazy. Jeremy Grant says he's going to start. Drew Holiday starting now, and then you got Henderson is out, and then you've got Shaedon Sharpe, who for my money is their like biggest upside situation there. So yeah, I just a little weird. Like if things are not going great, like just I don't care if Jeremy Grant wants to start. Bring him off the bench. Like it's just start prioritizing the guys who are going to be part of whatever the next good Blazers team are.
Exactly. All right. What are you guys' thoughts on the new reformed NBA TV?
Personally, I think we love it. yeah, because we're kind of a part of it. But I could tell you it's I'm not speaking out of turn or knowing anything here. So it's just everybody know that I'm coming from this. But I am loving watching NBA TV right now, and every commercial break is just old basketball highlights. Like I love it. Like it's like my favorite thing. That is not obviously sustainable as a revenue model. So I assume that will eventually some of those will get replaced with ads. I really enjoyed what is it called? The Association, I believe. That's like their new like pregame show, like kind of their version of NBA Today, if you will. it was really good. The first one I watched was John Wall and Rudy Gay, and they were both really good. Just talking about the game, like not crapping on a bunch of guys and just back in my day stuff. Like it was really good. So I'm pretty excited about where things are going with NBA TV.
Yeah. Of course, we're excited about it. We've got, we're going to have our front office shows will be up on there, as well as the NBA app and all of that. Plus, we'll have some other stuff coming in the works too that Keith and I are going to be involved in. So, obviously we're going to be very for this for sure.
Yeah. Two other things, because they're semi-TV related. Well, one's very TV related. The NBA announced today that when you go into the app, and if you're looking like, where can I watch this game? You just press the button and it'll take you there. If it's a Peacock game, you will need a subscription, but it'll put you right where you need to be to sign up for that. So, so that's cool. Like, you're not going to have to go like fully searching for games and all those kind of things. So I think that's really neat. So I see you're pulling that up.
Tap to watch is what they're calling it.
Tap to watch. So there you go. Pull you right over. So, which is pretty cool. So that now this is the other thing, because I've been asked about this about 58 times over the last couple of days. I don't have Netflix, so I have not seen any of Starting Five. But yes, I am in there talking about Tyrese Halliburton's jumper. This was in the second episode of season 2. I think it's a clip from our show.
Oh, I'm gonna have to look that up then.
Yeah, and it's when he was struggling early in the season, and I think what was being talked about is his jumper broken? And I was making the point that I have with him all along his entire career is I don't care what his jump shot looks like. It's just not. It just at that point was not going in. Yeah. So that's it. So I just said I don't have Netflix, so how would I have seen K-pop Demon Hunters? I know the songs because I hear them in the car all the time, but no, I've never seen that. I know it's very popular. I don't even know what
that is.
Yeah, having had it explained to me, it's exactly what it sounds like. It's a K-pop band that hunts demons, so it's pretty explainable in the title. But yeah. Now I feel like my dad, when my dad was like, I don't even know what a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle is.
Right.
It pretty much tells you exactly what
the title.
It's right there.
It's a turtle that's a teenager and is mutated, and they're also a ninja. There you go.
You know they were invented in Springfield, Massachusetts?
I did not know that.
Yeah. Home of the NBA. So,
all right, let's go.
Birthplace of basketball, not home of the NBA. I don't know why I said that. So
Turtle power.
Yeah.
When is the last day for teams to make roster / two-way cuts and signings?
Yeah. So, I think he's asking right now. The deadline is Monday. Monday at 5 p.m. You have to have your regular season rosters finalized. That really doesn't mean anything for opening night. But what happens is after tomorrow, Saturday, the 18th, if a guy's on a roster, he will incur a per day roster charge. That's even if the contract is non-guaranteed, it starts coming because they won't clear waivers before opening night. You have to be off waivers for 2 days. So what you're going to see is there's going to be a ton of waivers that get processed tomorrow from teams. They'll probably start tonight after the preseason games end. That's regularly how it goes. Boston finished their preseason and then waived some guys. But that's just usually how it goes. You'll also see a handful more signings. Like the Knicks did 5 sign and waive, where they signed a guy and within an hour waived him. And what those are for is that's to line guys up to get them to the G League. So that's what teams are going to be working on here over the next day or so. But tomorrow, you're going to see a whole bunch of cuts. As far as actually making roster additions, the last day of the regular season, in-sign player, we always talk about the Dante Jones, right? 2 years in a row, signed on the last day of the season, and then was on the Cavs playoff roster. So 2 ways, those are in January, is your last time to do, or the guarantee in January is when 2-way moves really kind of finish up. So
All right, let's go here. Oh, Tomas said, Trevor and Keith, or Keith and Trevor, how do you two feel about the weird breaking up of NBA broadcast that fans are dealing with? Games on ABC, Amazon Prime, Peacock. How are we supposed to keep it all straight? The NBA has put out a number of graphics.
Watch, right? But yeah.
But I mean, isn't it also, maybe it's not as broken up, but like we have to go to watch Thursday Night Football. You got to go to Amazon Prime. And usually this is what I do. And I did it even last night. I go and I use YouTube TV as my TV provider. And so last night I thought, oh, there's a football game on after the Dodger game ended. So I'm going to click over to the football game. I went into YouTube TV to look for it. I looked for a second. I'm like, oh, that's right. Thursday nights are on Amazon Prime. I have a feeling we're going to get to that place eventually where it just becomes like, oh yeah, that's right. It's this is the day. So that means it's here. Is it ideal? I mean, it might be a little bit clunky at first, but I do think it's something that ultimately people will adjust to.
I guess too, my question would be, there's one more party involved now with Amazon Prime because NBC effectively replaces TNT. ESPN, ABC's been a thing for years now. So now you have one more place. It's one more. Now, if you're saying like there's games on streaming versus like I have DirecTV. I didn't need to go to any kind of streaming product to watch the NBA. And now you do with Peacock and Amazon Prime. So I've said my piece on it. I don't love that it's a little more clunky. I'm going to probably second screen those games just because then it's there and then I can flip channels through League Pass like I always did. But yeah, we'll figure it out, and then I really do think that tap to watch feature is great from the league. Like, all right, this is the game I want to see. Hit the button, it'll take you there, provided you're, you are signed up. But yeah, there you go.
If you're not sure too, like here's one that was posted on Yahoo Sports. I just did a quick Google search and this was one I found, but the NBA has put some out and stuff too. You can always save one of these guides to your phone or whatever. And that'll let you know, hey, what day are the main, nationally televised games? Where can I find them?
Yeah. And there's like changes too, because I know like NBC's doing Sundays until after football. And then they're going to jump in. ABC will do their Sunday afternoon games like they always did. But yeah, it is kind of is, it is what it is. And we'll get there. We'll figure it out.
Are you guys dressing up for the Halloween Front Office Friday show? There is a Front Office Friday on Halloween.
Yeah, we got 2 weeks. So I looked. We are like, now I don't remember what the number was. We're like 300 people away from 40,000 subscribers on YouTube.
Yes, I'll give you the exact count. We are at 39,708 right now at this moment.
If you guys get it over 40,000, we'll do something on Front Office Friday on Halloween. Fair?
So we need under 300 subs.
The same deal as last year. You didn't hit it last year, and we didn't do it.
I will try to promote a bit more on social too, that we're doing that.
Yeah, we'll do something. I don't know what. It'll probably be something completely stupid and ignorant because that's what we do here. I mean, I wore 2 aprons and a bicycle helmet.
And a hard cap. That's right. Did you guys say after this year there will no longer be the apron status for teams anymore? Explain, please. It just resets each year.
Resets.
That's all.
The aprons don't go away.
Right.
It just resets for each team. Resets every year on July 1st. New year, new apron status.
All right. Young Hansen thoughts. Keith, I don't know if you saw the clip that was going around. He was crying on the bench because he fouled out in 15 minutes. He had 3 turnovers, didn't play particularly well. I don't have a problem with it. Some people might say, oh, that's not manly or whatever. To me, it's like this dude cares. He cares about 100%. Playing. And preseason is all about adjustments, both at the team level as well as the player level. Like if he's crying over what he did wrong in that game, he's going to fix those things. He very clearly cares deeply about it. So I don't have a problem with that. I love the passion.
Yeah, that part, no issue at all for me when guys are showing passion because it shows they care. Basketball wise, he's got miles to go defensively.
Sure.
And we knew that was going to be the case. I'm not trying to criticize the Chinese Basketball Association, but there's a reason guys leave the NBA, go over there and average 25 points per game. It's just not, there's not a lot of defensive emphasis over there. I think he will get there. He's proven to be a pretty smart player. I just think his offense is way ahead of his defense. That said, he's going to play because Robert Williams is not healthy to start the year. So it's going to be Clingin, him, and then probably some small ball lineups. And that's going to be how they get through it to open the season. So, but yeah, and Duop Reith should see some minutes in there as well.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think he's going to be a good player, but it's going to take time. Anybody who was like came out of summer league, he's like, this dude's a top. I heard people being like, he's already a top 20 center. Like that's just nonsense. Like, and don't put young players there because now you're putting an expectation on them that's unfair. And then you're going to be mad when they don't beat it. Just be reasonable to start, and then we'll see where it goes.
And then people get mad at the player. Why aren't you that, right? And you see the frustration. But yeah, don't set expectations that high. Are Luka and Smart playing tonight? From all indications, yes. I know they have shoot around today, but JJ Redick has said that this is going to be their dress rehearsal. This will be it. They're only one. They're out of 6 preseason games. This should be, unless we get a surprise, that somebody's not playing. This will be the only preseason game that the Lakers actually play their guys out of 6, which is maybe a little concerning depending on how you look at it, but also Luka coming off a Eurobasket. But I believe the plan is for both of those guys to play tonight.
Yeah, and major trend, and I actually was talking about this with some people earlier this morning. Teams are they're now treating it like the NFL treats preseason, where it is, all right, we got to go out because 4 is the minimum they have to play. And these teams are like, we're going to give you maybe a game and a half of regular guys, and that's it. Like, and even in that one game, you're going to get them for like 3 quarters, and that'll be it. Like, we're not even gonna go very hard. So yeah, I saw a lot of teams doing I'm going to play our guys for the first half and then pull them. Yeah,
a lot of guys did that.
And there's a couple who were like, I want them to come back out for at least one stint after halftime, so that then it's like re-warm up. Remember, like, this is how it actually works. So I'm going to pull this just very quickly. I talked about Hugo Gonzalez earlier in the show. You might have just joined. So check, pop back and check that out.
Yep. All right. And then we've got this. If LeBron only plays 50 or so or less games, do you re-sign him? I mean, what do those 50 games look like? Yeah. What's the price? What are you
resigning him? Does he average 50 points a game? Sure.
Right.
Done.
Yeah. Right. And I mean, but let's say LeBron plays half the season, Keith. He deals with injuries, but when he's out there, he looks like himself. That's probably the trickiest spot to be in if you're the Lakers, right? Like that like if he goes and he plays, he misses this stint at the beginning of the season, and then he plays, I don't know, 67 games or something after that, and looks really good, then it's a very easy, like, yes, of course you'd want to re-sign him. If it goes the other way where, he just hit the age cliff, or he only appears in 40 games, it doesn't look very good. It's if he plays kind of a middle ground in terms of games, but he looks great when he's out there, that's where it gets to be very, very complicated, I think, for the Lakers.
And then that could be, though, maybe this is the way forward if he wants to play for however many more years. I don't know. There's no easy situation here, like to say what this is going to be right now.
And this is pretty unprecedented, though, too, to have a guy still playing at this level going into his age 41 season. So that's tough, too.
Yeah, I would say I would say it's absolutely unprecedented. Yeah.
It's not like teams are dealing with this. Does Rob Pelinka have any experience dealing with a situation like this? No, but nobody else does either.
No, exactly.
Right?
Yeah. It's not like he could call up somebody else and be like, "Hey, how did you guys handle it here?" I mean, yes, other guys have played late in their career and those kind of things, but this is we're in uncharted territory.
All right. Can NBA trades be conditional like the NFL? If player plays X games, then draft compensation increases? Nope, that's not.
No, yeah. The only conditions you can put is protections on a pick where that pick lands. Will it convey or not? You can't do anything like that. And that's because the NBA, there's already enough unknown with the pick protections on where they land. They don't want to introduce any more complexity into these things. So that's why you don't see that. I'm of mixed mind about it. Like, because the other challenges, sometimes those things can be too hard to manipulate, where it is like, hey, we only got, let's say it was player needs to play 60 games. And he's at 59 games played with a game left in the season. That means nothing. And that changes it from a first rounder to a second rounder to a first rounder. Then and that's the other difference too. There's only 2 rounds in the NBA. When a new draft year comes online, teams only have 2 picks in a given season. Like, that's the challenge.
I always thought it would be interesting if there was a way to do it kind of like in baseball, where you can just eat a portion of a player's salary as dead money on your books. Like if there was a way, like imagine how much that would change trading in the NBA.
Sure.
If you had an undesirable contract and the team trading away that contract could say, hey, this guy's owed 50 million, we'll give him to you, but we'll keep 10 million of it as dead money on our books. And you're only taking on 40 million. And then, it would just be an interesting wrinkle. I think it would be one of those, I'd have to really sit down and ponder all of the different ramifications of doing something like that and how that would change it. But it would be an interesting way to see how that could change negotiations on contracts around the NBA.
Yeah, I will say too, they are, there are folks in the league who would like to be able to see teams allowed to trade dead money. So like Damian Lillard or Bradley Beal, like, hey, Brooklyn, you're just trying to reach the salary floor. Let me trade you this dead money off of our books, so you can eat it for us. It's just not something that I don't think will ever go anywhere. So.
Yeah.
All right, we'll do 2 quick ones here.
Okay.
Because they're very quick answers. Uniball, is someone who hasn't watched either are Cam Spencer and Pat Spencer brothers? If so, who's the better brother? I don't know who the better brother is as far as like who gets mom the nicest stuff on Mother's Day and that. But basketball wise, it's Cam Spencer. Yes, they are brothers. But basketball wise is Cam Spencer. And then, but overall athlete wise, it's Pat Spencer. Pat Spencer won the college lacrosse equivalent of the Heisman Trophy when he was at Northwestern. And now plays in the NBA. Like, that's crazy.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah. I'm hoping to hold up for possession against Collin Sexton in the post, and this guy's winning the Heisman and then playing in the NBA. I always mess it up. I think it's called the Terrerawan Award is what it's called for college lacrosse, but that's wild. No, and then this one was what does the Bob Myers move do for the Sixers? I don't think it changes really much of anything. It sounds like the role he is taking is overall sports for the Harris Blitzer Sports and Entertainment Group, I think is what they're called. So that's like a spot where he's going to go in, and that is Sixers, the Devils in the NHL, Crystal Palace in the Premier League.
Yeah.
They have an investment in Joe Gibbs Racing. He also sounds like as far as I'm learning and understanding this, the Commanders, who Josh Harris owns, are owned outside of that. Harris Blitzer, I think, the separate thing, but he's also retaining his advisory role to Josh Harris for the Commanders. I don't think Bob Myers had opportunities to go back and run NBA teams like day to day as their president or general manager. I don't think they're going to see him do that. I don't think he wants to. I think it is this new big role doing a whole bunch of stuff is there. So,
all right. Well, I think we've gone into overtime a little bit here, but we appreciate all of you for joining us here on this last Front Office Friday ahead of the NBA's regular season. We got a bunch of preseason games tonight. It's the last night of preseason, and then we're on to the regular season opener next week. Exciting time of year for sure. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button to see us dress up in Halloween.
Yeah, and hit likes. Yeah, subscribe. Get us to 41 or what 40,000 subscribers, and we'll dress up like idiots on 2 weeks on Halloween.
That's right. All right. Thank you again, everybody. Till next time. See ya and stay safe.